Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Mike with iTraveler's Life Abroad. I came upon this article by Garmin Traveler entitled "Don't Do This in Ecuador, 20 Things Not to Do in Ecuador." So I thought I'd provide commentary. I'm going to cover 19 of them. One of them wasn't too pertinent. So follow along, as I think you'll find all of these either topical or interesting if you plan to visit or live in Ecuador. Don't ignore altitude adjustment. Cities like Quito and Cuenca are both high altitude cities, and adjusting too quickly can lead to altitude sickness. It's recommended to take it easy your first few days, drink plenty of water, avoid alcohol and strenuous activities, and I can attest that I've had intestinal and stomach issues for well over a year and a half related to altitude sickness. So it's a serious matter. Don't ignore the weather. Ecuador's weather varies dramatically depending on the region. It can be hot and sunny on the coast, but chilly and rainy in the Andes. Pack layers. Check your forecast before heading out. We always bring our backpacks with a rain layer, an insulating layer, and an umbrella. Don't underestimate the sun. Evidently, Ecuador is on the equator and the sun is much stronger than many people realize, even on cloudy days. Typically, UV indexes are 10 and above. Wear sunscreen, a hat, sunglasses, and reapply sunscreen often. Don't skip the Amazon. Ecuador's Amazon is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. I've done some travels in the Amazon and I hope to do more. It's just superb. Indigenous groups have distinct traditions and cultures that should be respected. Ask permission before taking photos. Avoid making jokes or comments about their clothing or customs. It's just common sense. Ecuadorian food is diverse and delicious, so if you were to skip it, you would really miss part of their culture. Each region has their own specialty, so certainly try ceviche, locro de papa, empanadas. Just like anywhere else, be leery of restaurants and street foods where hygiene practices may be lacking. Haggling is common in local markets as the locals know their prices. It's important to negotiate politely and to be respectful. If you regularly do business with a merchant, you may receive what's known as a yapa or a bonus, or a baker's dozen. Displaying expensive items like jewelry, cameras, or smartphones can make you a target for theft, especially in public transit. Keep valuables discreet and consider using a money belt or even an anti-theft bag. Pickpocketing and theft is not uncommon in Ecuador. While you may find some English spoken in some tourist areas, the locals speak Spanish or an indigenous language. Learning basic Spanish phrases is important. Use a translation app to communicate. Even a little effort is appreciated by most. In Ecuador, time is more flexible, especially for social events. Strict punctuality is less of a priority than in North America, so be patient and embrace the slower pace of life. Arrive on time for formal events, but expect delays in casual settings. The article made mention of not drinking tap water and that it's not safe in Ecuador in most areas, which is likely true. However, in Cuenca, it is very safe to drink. It's also advisable not to consume ice unless you know it's commercially produced. Most sources of water in Ecuador are groundwater, so you may want to filter your water, such as using a Brita filter or a reverse osmosis system. As is the case in Latin American countries and other places in the world, plumbing systems are not designed to handle toilet paper, and flushing can lead to clogs. So, use the trash bin provided in the bathrooms to dispose of your toilet paper. Ecuador is a cash-based society, and many vendors and taxis and small businesses won't have change for bills larger than 20s or 50s. In fact, most places don't accept $50 bills. So, carry small denominations of cash, including coins, for your day-to-day transactions. Ecuador uses the US dollar and has an assortment of both US and Ecuadorian coins, and know that the word in Spanish for cents are centavos. Don't overlook safety in taxis, and not all taxis are safe, especially those that are not registered or marked. So make sure you use yellow taxis and apps that allow you to order taxis. In Cuenca, the app is called Azul Taxi. And know that Uber does not operate in Cuenca. Driving at night in some regions can be unsafe due to poor lit roads and isolated areas with no cell phone coverage. Not only is it unsafe due to criminal organizations, but some police organizations have taken advantage of the situation as well. Add to that the poor road conditions and risk of landslides, it's not advisable to travel at night. Both municipal and intercity buses are affordable and widely available. However, as previously mentioned, pickpocketing can occur on crowded routes. It's common practice that if you're bringing a backpack, to wear it in front of you, and to never leave luggage in an overhead compartment or under a seat. On crowded buses, be leery of those who are pressing up against you, and in many cases, young persons. Know that intercity buses have been targeted by criminal organizations on nighttime routes. Tipping isn't as customary as in North America. However, small tips are appreciated in restaurants and for services like guided tours. Tipping 5 to 10% in restaurants or leaving small amounts for a driver or hotel staff is much appreciated. Know that Ecuadorians typically don't tip, and some view that by tipping we're inadvertently increasing prices for all Ecuadorians. Politics can be a sensitive topic. In Ecuador, people can be especially sensitive to issues involving government policies or indigenous rights. It's best to avoid bringing up politics unless someone else starts the conversation. If you want to keep your friends, focus on neutral topics like culture, history, or travel. Just remember, opinions are like rectums. Everybody's got one. And just like people don't need to see your rectum, they don't need your opinion. This point I want to expand upon. It's called Don't Ignore National Park Rules. I want to extend to Don't Ignore Local Laws. So the article spoke about the Galapagos Islands and the Cotopaxi National Park having strict conservation rules to protect ecosystems. So obviously sticking to marked trails, not feeding wildlife, and leaving no trash behind goes unsaid, as does following laws in another country. While you may observe most people not following basic laws such as obeying traffic signals, crosswalks, etc., it's not the case of when in Rome do as the Romans, because as a visitable minority, you're easy to make an example of, and you're the one that will be taken to task as opposed to a local. So there you have it, things to not do in Ecuador. We feel very safe living here up in the Andes, but make no mistake, we do avoid traveling in coastal areas. We enjoy both the people and the weather, and we consider living here a blessing. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider giving a thumbs up and consider subscribing as we endeavor to provide you more content about our life here in Ecuador.